Merab the Machine Dvalishvili is the bantamweight GOAT of all time. In this video, I'm going to be breaking it down. I've got the topology list here of all the bantamweight GOATs, their GOAT list, what they ranked it as. But I'm sorry to say, this past Saturday night, Merab just cemented himself as the bantamweight GOAT. He proved that he is absolutely unstoppable. He is the real machine at bantamweight, and his style shows it. The grueling wrestling and cardio that Merab has, it's unstoppable. It's really unstoppable. And you saw pictures of Sean O'Malley in the crowd. He looked shocked. He looked like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna get this belt back. Because I'm sorry, Merab proved that he is just dominant. And when we're looking at GOAT, we're looking at dominant, a great record, great wins, and Merab has all of that, and like a grueling style. That's Merab has all of these aspects. Obviously, when I look at the bantamweight goats, we've got Dominic Cruz at number one, and I think Dominic Cruz and Merab are very close when you look at bantamweight goats, because Dominic Cruz during his era was super dominant. That's why his nickname is the Dominator. Cruz, he dominated people. His flashy style, his unorthodox movement, his head movement, his striking was levels above everybody else at the time, and there's a reason for that. Dominic, he had skills that people just didn't really know how to react to. He beat people like TJ Dillashaw and Renan. He beat these guys in the GOAT conversations, and that's why he is seen as the pound for pound GOAT of bantamweight. And he also was double champ. I believe he was. No, he was. What am I saying? He was double champ. I'm thinking of Triple C. Sorry. Triple C is also in the mix, but not as a bantamweight GOAT. But we got Merab, man, and then we got Dominic Cruz. Of course, there's other guys. Jose Aldo. I don't know why he's so low on the list, but Jose Aldo. A lot of people consider him to be their bantamweight GOAT. Piotr Jan. A lot of people consider him to be their bantamweight GOAT. Everybody obviously has their bantamweight greatest of all time. But when we're looking statistically speaking, and when we're looking into the fights and who these people have fought, who the bantamweight goats have fought, Merab's record and the people he's defeated is just above everybody else. And the way he's done it, it's not by finishes. I know it's not a dominant finish. He doesn't knock people out. He doesn't submit people, but he has grueling decisions that break people. When we think about a cold knockout, you think about a cold knockout like Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. Max Holloway slept Justin Gaethje, but it wasn't a grueling decision that broke him mentally. It was okay. That's not a great example because he did break him at the end of the fifth round, but you know what I mean? Like a quick knockout isn't as dominant as a 5-round unanimous decision against top level former champions of the bantamweight division. You know what I mean? He beat Jose Aldo, Piotr Jan. He beat, who else did he beat? What am I saying? Let me just look. He beat Sean O'Malley. Let's just go to Merab. He beat Sean O'Malley. Look at this. Look at this 5-fight win streak he has here. Jose Aldo, Piotr Jan, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, and Umar Nurmagomedov. If that is not the best bantamweight 5-fight win streak, and then to get the belt as well in his last fight against Sean O'Malley, beat him by decision. Wasn't the most flashy fight, but it was dominant. And then he just dominated Umar Nurmagomedov like it was nothing. He walked out in the fifth round like he just started fighting. This dude just started fighting in the fifth round. The look on Umar's face, the look on Khabib's face. It was just hilarious because, I was rooting for Umar. I will be honest, I was rooting for Umar. But when I saw Merab's cardio and his grappling and his wrestling against Umar and him just standing there as Umar tried to drag him to the mat and he couldn't, I was actually shocked. You got this guy, Merab Dvalishvili, who is not an excellent striker. He doesn't have the most dynamic striking capabilities. He's a dominant wrestler, but he doesn't have any submission capabilities. He doesn't have any Brazilian jiu-jitsu history. So when you look at Merab, you're like, how is he going to win a fight? How is he going to finish? He doesn't even need to finish you because he's so grueling, especially in these 5-round fights. Now that he's only doing 5-round fights, it's even more dominating and it's even more draining for his opponents who are trying to prepare for him because, Umar was prepped, man. Umar was prepped round 1, round 2. He looked amazing. He was beating Merab clearly. It was a clear round 1 and round 2 for Umar, for sure. Everybody, I would say the general consensus of the MMA community agree that Umar won round 1 and round 2, but it was those later rounds. It was the rounds I was worried about. Those rounds, I thought Umar had prepped enough for it. But you just can't prep for a guy like Merab whose cardio and his heart rate is an average of like 50. This dude's heart rate is super low. His average resting heart rate is below the average of a human, of a regular human. It is like 10 below the regular rate of a human. Merab, he just isn't really built normal. He's built like a machine, and that he totally suits his nickname. And this is just reasons that he's the bantamweight GOAT, because it's not only the people that he's beat, it's just the fashion that he's beat them. As much as, decisions are boring, people hate decisions, but his decision against Umar, his decision against Sean O'Malley, these decisions were dominant. His decision against Henry Cejudo, he made Henry Cejudo look like he had zero experience in wrestling. He picked up Henry Cejudo, chucked him over his shoulder, walked him over to Mark Zuckerberg, and launched him down on the mat like it was nothing. Henry Cejudo is an Olympic wrestler, a high-level Olympic wrestler, and he walked him down, picked him up like nothing, and launched him down. You have to realize that Merab isn't just, getting dominant decisions. He's clearly destroying and breaking down the fighters that he's fighting, and breaking them down mentally, not only physically, but mentally, specifically. When we saw Umar coming out in the past fight this past weekend, he walked out and he just looked absolutely mentally destroyed by Merab. Merab walked out fresh. When you get off the stool and you see Merab hopping and smiling and grinning like he just got in the octagon, you've got to be questioning life at that point. You've got to be like, how the fuck am I supposed to beat this guy? Because it's just like, it's just the pace, the cardio, the wrestling capability, and now he's improved his striking. He was destroying Umar on the feet in the third, fourth, and fifth, man. He was cracking Umar, rocked Umar at one point bad, Even against Sean O'Malley, he cracked Sean O'Malley a couple times, Obviously, his goal was to take Sean O'Malley down because Sean O'Malley's primarily a striker. Against Umar, it was more like Umar's pretty good at wrestling. He's very good at wrestling, but he's also primarily a striker. But his wrestling was definitely above everybody else. Everybody else Merab's fought. But you also got Jose Aldo. He beat Jose Aldo, one of the legends, one of the GOATs, who has an amazing takedown defense. Merab was able to take him down. Merab was able to squeeze him up against the fence, pressure him nonstop. It's the pace. It's the grueling pace that Merab sets that just completely steers him away from everybody else in the bantamweight GOAT conversation. You got guys like TJ Dillashaw who are up there in the bantamweight GOAT conversation. Merab would destroy TJ Dillashaw. Even TJ Dillashaw in his prime. He would destroy prime TJ Dillashaw. He would destroy prime Jose Aldo. He didn't fight a prime Jose Aldo, but he would destroy prime Jose Aldo. Everybody in their prime in the bantamweight GOAT conversation, Piotr Jan, everybody, Merab would beat, including Dominic Cruz, man. I don't think Dominic Cruz would beat Merab Dvalishvili, even in his prime. You can't dodge a guy like Merab. You can't, swerve a guy like Merab and try to, just have good head movement. It just won't work against a guy who has a grueling pace, who's nonstop, 5 rounds, every single round he's coming at you, and he's pushing the pace, and he's pushing you up against the fence, and he's lifting you up and throwing you down. He threw Umar down like it was nothing. Threw Henry Cejudo down like it was nothing. Piotr Jan, he shot 49 takedowns. 49 fucking takedowns, man. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And he just surpassed George St. Pierre's takedown freaking statistic, man. George St. Pierre had the most takedowns in the UFC. Merab just passed that statistic and now has the most takedowns in the UFC against Umar this past weekend. Absolutely insane. It's just Merab's just levels above everybody else. And of course, it depends what happens at the end of his career, because when you look at guys like, the guys at the top, Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, some of these guys, they started to lose their momentum as they were, getting to the end of their career. And it's understandable that happens. We see guys like Tony Ferguson who just completely lose it and they keep fighting for no reason. They don't know when to retire. So I don't know when Merab will retire. I believe he's 35 or he's 34. Sorry, he's 34. So, he's still got time left, but it depends. Is he going to retire early? Is he going to, keep pushing it out and try to keep winning nonstop? I don't see anybody in bantamweight right now that beats Merab Dvalishvili. People are trying to come up with fights for Merab in the future. Rematch with Sean, rematch with Piotr Jan, but it's like he's just going to beat those guys. As simple as it is, he's going to beat those guys no matter what. the best chance for Merab to get beaten is maybe by Pantoja. Seriously, because Pantoja might be able to submit him. I don't think he will because of Merab's wrestling, but it's the highest likely possibility of Merab losing is if Pantoja moves up. But I doubt we'll see that happen anytime soon. Nonetheless, though, Merab, I think he's the bantamweight GOAT. I think a lot of people are going to see that in the future once he beats some of these guys again and again and again. His win streak is humongous right now. I think he has the longest win streak in bantamweight ever as well. So it's just there's statistics after statistics. It doesn't even come down to the statistics, though. It just comes down to if you were to put Merab in the cage, in the octagon, with any of the bantamweight goats, if with any of the bantamweight goats, he would beat them all right now. Even if all those guys were in their prime, he would beat them. And I'm not trying to glaze. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to hype up Merab too much. I was rooting for Umar. I've been rooting. I rooted for Sean O'Malley. I was rooting for these guys against Merab, but he's proven me wrong time and time again. He's proven everybody wrong time and time again. So, we got to put some respect on his name. And I believe that Merab Dvalishvili is the bantamweight GOAT, and he will keep up this win streak, keep dominating people in the fashion that he's been doing it. He proved that. He destroyed Nurmagomedov this past Saturday. People that think that fight was close, it was close, but that third, fourth, and fifth were clear wins for Merab. He destroyed, and he just took over in the fight, and that's what matters, those later rounds, those championship rounds. That's what proves a champion. That's what divides a champion from a regular fighter or a contender. So, all that being said, if you guys agree, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop your comments down below what you guys think. Do you guys think Merab's the bantamweight GOAT, or do you guys think somebody else is? Drop it down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.